boo.
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
We're not live, right?
No. Good morning. Welcome to AVNewsCast.com.
.com.
That's .com.
That's what I get for never wearing my headphones.
What's that?
Have I? Oh, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Oh.
I didn't know until I heard you say good morning.
You're looking tired, Angelina.
Am I?
Yeah, today is
I
Thursday,
rode
July 10th.
5 miles this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I feel okay.
Okay. Well, you're looking tired.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Great having you here. Sorry I missed you guys yesterday.
Lovely bags. Are those Coach?
Right. Right.
Sorry I missed you yesterday. We're not going to be talking about food today, though. Okay?
I don't. Why do you say it that way, Steve?
Not in a bad way,
Then why would you say it that way?
because we're not talking about food today.
Okay. It wasn't really that we were talking about food. We were talking about nutrition, the value of it, how
Mental health.
Yeah.
I know, and I probably should listen to the show.
Yeah.
I'm not trivializing it.
Sure
I
you
should
did.
listen to the show.
Sure you did. But we won't
Well,
talk about
it was
food
like
today.
Donald Sterling. You know, she never read the court stuff. She's pretty.
Yeah, and we're
Yeah,
going
that she's pretty. Talk about a slam.
Yeah,
As if that's all that's her sole purpose in life,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
pretty.
yeah,
And to talk about food.
Yeah.
and in a minute we'll talk about Donald Sterling.
Okay.
The most important thing going on in the Antelope Valley,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, is the release of SVP, pillowcase rapist Christopher Hubert
Watch your girls.
Yep. Lock them up.
yesterday. I have to say kudos to Ed Fromer, because he has been staking out that residence for weeks.
I know.
Okay?
He should have got
And,
that shot.
You know, he, even when, before the delay and after the delay, I mean, breakfast,
And it's
lunch,
hot.
dinner,
Yeah.
night. I mean, he's just been staking it out.
Out there in that tent with some MREs and his camera. That's
Yeah, and so he was the man there. Okay, so kudos to him for that. And I don't know if you guys saw the video, but he got right in front of the car because he needed to capture that shot. Okay?
Right.
And he got right in front of the car, and he was physically hurled to the side. Okay.
isn't that something?
That's not right. That's illegal to be putting their hands on him.
The way that they did, I would say, yeah, it probably was wrong. Okay. And I don't know if he was actually on their property because he was on
It
this
doesn't
side.
matter. It wasn't the guard's property,
Yeah.
No.
right?
Right.
It wasn't the homeowner that did that.
Right.
Was he impeding traffic? What?
Probably.
He was blocking the car from entering, and he was
Put
going
your head
for a
out
shot,
first. Put your head out first.
and he was shooting video because he wanted to feed it to the
Yeah.
news sources, So yesterday, I guess what happened yesterday was Liberty Healthcare brought Christopher Hubert to the Antelope Valley yesterday morning, brought him to the Lancaster Sheriff Station, where he was processed, photographed, and signed up for whatever he had to do,
I'm going to run out of here. If something comes out of the wall, I'm just telling you.
No.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
So, yeah, it's some weird sounds in our
No,
studio.
you know, I was thinking about that. What do? They send corporate headhunters to the mental hospitals, and, you know, you got your rapists and stuff, these horrible blights that they dump into your community. But the people that drive along with them and take them and protect them, they have to be sociopaths. They have to have no compassion for the community that they're putting these people in.
Well,
so is that what they do? Is
job.
they recruit the sociopaths out of the mental hospital to do what these guys did?
I get what you're saying. You know, that's like a defense attorney trying to put up a defense for a scumbag like this guy. But
right.
Well, it's just like going to war. I mean, you don't have anything against that other person that you're shooting. It just is your job to kill them.
You don't go to war against your own country, theoretically. I mean...
I understand what you're saying. But
it doesn't matter. Does it make it easier to kill somebody from another country because they're from another country? It's still a life.
Yeah.
You know, the first time that you're shooting, it's like, dang, I don't even know you, but...
No, I think that's entirely different.
Why?
It just is.
It's not a life?
It's the enemy, quote unquote. Quotes. It's the enemy. Now, these people, your own countrymen are the enemy.
Now, but what the security is doing for this guy, though, okay, is twofold, okay? They are guarding him from the community, and they are also protecting the community and keeping this guy under lock and key, okay?
Yeah.
It's a 2-bedroom house. One bedroom is for Christopher Hubert. The other bedroom is for the security guy.
Yeah, who wants to pull that duty?
And I don't know if there's 1 or 2 security guys in the house.
You'd have to give me 2.
And they're doing a wake and sleep routine. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
They are making sure that he does not get outside.
I wonder if they lock him in his bedroom at night.
I'm under the impression, and I could be wrong, but I'm under the impression that the house is outfitted with cameras. Okay?
Well, it's a reality show.
Internally and externally, they can monitor him. Okay?
What are you doing? Pull that sheet down!
Yeah.
Hands above the sheets!
He knows what's going on outside. He's looking out the window. He sees all the protesters. It is a valley of media out there, okay? It's just...
I wonder if he has any family.
No, that was part of the problem.
That acknowledge him?
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's got to have family.
That was part of the problem.
Cousin, he's got to have family. Come in.
Okay. Well, then, okay. Anyway, so he is here. When he was transported to the house, there were multiple cars that were transporting him and following him and guarding them, along with, marked black and white sheriff's cars that were there. There was a black and white station last night that was out there. And I'm hoping no one in the community does anything stupid. Okay?
Well, it doesn't make me feel any better because that's not going to happen for the rest of his life.
Right.
No.
At some point, they're gonna leave
the
him on his OR.
the minute they scale it back is when he's going to do it.
Yep.
Well, at least for the next 6 months, okay, and a minimum, at least for the next 6 months, we don't have any worries because he is under lock and key in the whole thing. Whether he will ever be able to petition the court and move from conditional to unconditional release, I doubt that very highly. I think he's going to end up doing something dumb, okay?
He's not going to have the chance to do anything dumb.
Well, if he even has bad thoughts and they put him through a polygraph, that's enough to violate him.
Once again, you're assuming that he's not a sociopath, that he has any kind of human emotions.
If he's taken this test so many times, he knows how to beat that mess.
Okay,
you pucker your butt. And that gives you, every time you answer a question, that gives you a little rush through your system. And that's
just
what you
amazing.
Need. It's true. It's true. And that's how you
I just want to take a test just to see.
Do it. You'll see.
Jeff, you probably got it at home.
If Assemblyman Fox is successful, remember, he's asked for an audit from the hospital, and they have discovered or believe or have reason to believe that one of the doctors that provided one of his exit exams was not licensed to provide that exit exam. So if they are correct, then that would void the exit exam, which was a requirement of his conditional release. So he'd have to go back in and deal with that issue.
And
so
then
there's
you need
things
to
going
look
on.
at the list of other people that doctor released.
Right.
That's, if he didn't
Right.
get that CEU.
Right. Now, Liberty Media, Liberty Healthcare, rather, they handed his security detail off to another company, okay, called Sunset Protective Services. All right? These guys have experience, a lot of experience, law
This
enforcement
kind of stuff?
background. They are licensed to carry a gun in any state, okay? And that in and of itself is interesting. Because Congress passed a bill, and I believe it's called H.R. 218. Basically, what that says is, if you are retired law enforcement and you were on the force for 10 years, you're left in good standings, you can carry a concealed weapon anywhere in America.
Oh,
Okay.
I could
So
dig
that's
that.
why these guys are licensed to be able to do that.
I
Well,
get
I looked
that.
it up because I wanted to see how is it that they're licensed to carry a gun in any state.
Because they're law enforcement.
Well, they're retired, yeah.
Right.
But I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I could appreciate that.
I didn't know that. Their main
As
call
long
to
as you left
action,
in good standing, good Lord.
they provide security to corporate CEOs, but they do a lot of celebrity security
Yeah.
as well.
The fun
Okay?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the stuff that pays money. But they are the ones physically that are guarding him right there. And I was surprised to see someone from the security detail come out and address the media, okay, as Christopher Hubbart's spokesperson. How is he doing? What are his
Nah.
thoughts? And this guy's out telling, I was very surprised. I would have thought they would have been totally closed mouthed.
Well, they're not Secret Service.
No, yet, you know what? I don't know. I thought it was kind of strange.
You
They
see-
say Hubbard
you see-
is optimistic.
Optimistic
Oh.
that he can get
Optimistic.
another girl
No.
before he
They-
takes his last breath.
No, they say he's optimistic that he will be able to do the right thing and be able to integrate back
No,
into
we don't
society.
want no integration.
No.
Correct.
Stay in your little dormitory.
Right,
We don't want you to immigrate.
right. And the rape victims that were out there that are talking, it's terrible.
It is.
It really is.
It just makes us a fresh hell for them.
It is. It's
Because they
terrible.
can't ever hide away from it.
No.
Once you're raped, that stays with you for the rest of your life. And
This is just like
he
another
gets
knife
a
in
release.
your side.
Yeah, he gets a
Having this guy
release and
out
a
here.
do-over.
Yeah.
And they don't. It's terrible.
They're well. I told you guys earlier that Michelle Egberts has been blowing up my phone. She's been calling me, and I recently got a text a few minutes ago saying that she was in some way involved with his conditional release.
Oh, dear.
I don't know that that's true.
And
I don't know that that's
a good
true.
thing. She's
So,
a nut.
I don't know.
I mean,
We're
and
not
you
gonna
want to
talk to
tell
her?
people that? I mean, that's just
No,
the
I don't-
dumbest shit ever. It's,
you know what?
It's streaming.
You did
Don't-
one yesterday.
it's
you,
streaming.
Day before yesterday, you did one.
It's streaming, and it's for adult ears. And you know what? That's the truth.
Okay. All right.
It's the truth.
Okay.
For a grown woman to puff out
Okay.
your chest, I helped get him out. That's the stupidest I've ever heard.
Okay. I agree with
It's not
you.
going to make you super
Okay.
popular in the community.
I gotta let you
I
know.
agree with you. One thing that really upset me, that really bothered me, though, is we were hoping for advance notice.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think it's wrong, very, very wrong, for the state of California to allow this person to be released and not provide advance notice.
Well, they give you a window. They can't tell you the day, Steve. If you really want to be truthful about it, you can't tell you the day because it's going to be crowds of people. That
Yeah,
then
they've already got one myriad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't
do
expect
that.
them to tell the public the date, okay?
Just the media.
But here's the thing, okay? Local law enforcement definitely knew.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's who
Which
should
meant
know.
that Jackie Lacey knew, right?
You just want your friend to have called you and told you.
Well, yeah, maybe.
That's
you're
what it
upset
is.
about.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
That's what it
Okay.
is. Jackie,
Maybe.
Steve's
know,
mad at you.
Phone call would have been nice.
It other than Ed Fromer that was out there, okay, it scooped all media.
Yeah.
All right? And then it was a mad scramble for local media and media coming out of L.A. to get up here as fast as you could. And then now you've got all the trucks and everything else.
I can't see him even
into the nighttime.
I can't even see him wanting to be out because at least in the hospital setting, you have other sickos that you could befriend, play chess with, watch Lifetime movies with.
Yeah, now I understand there is no television.
There's no TV?
There's no TV in
so it's just him and his thoughts.
Oh, great. Just boiling.
So I don't know
like an unattended pot.
Oh, my God.
So,
and that poor guy that's doing security.
He's, right.
The noises he hears.
Don't go in my room. I got the only cable in this house.
And one network media outlet was reporting that there are death threats being posted on social media.
Why is that surprising?
Against this guy.
Uh-huh.
And again, I'm hoping that no one does anything stupid because I don't want to see somebody from the community do something dumb and end up in jail.
You know what I think is really funny? Steve has said that like 3 times, and we've never said anything to that. Jeff and I, we just, you just keep saying it, and me and Jeff just,
yeah,
that's his hope. I mean, that's his hope.
People are very upset that here's the thing, so everybody understands. Judge Brown was required by law, was required by law to release this guy because our laws are screwed up.
I don't go for it.
Okay?
I don't go for it.
Okay,
because,
here's the thing.
Judges do stupid crap on regular basis. They really do.
Okay.
You can be a 19-year-old that mow down people and get probation because, jail will corrupt his life like in Texas. Give me a break. You can figure it out.
Okay. I agree and I disagree.
Especially when you're about to retire.
Okay.
How are they going to come and get you?
Okay.
If the last thing that you do for the community is to keep a freak in before you go to retire, what kind of... You should be able to be proud going to the grocery store with that.
Okay.
Instead, I let him out.
Okay. Let me follow up this way. By law, at statute, at law, he was required to release him. Could he have found some way to kink this thing?
Yes.
I believe he could have.
Sure, he could have.
Could our governor have stopped this? Yes, I believe he could have. Okay.
They should both have to come
Was he
down
asked
here
to?
and give a
Yes.
speech in Lake
Did he
LA.
act? No.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very disappointed that the governor didn't do something about this. We've got 900 other SVPs that want to be released. Okay. And little by little, down in the San Diego area, 2 months ago they released a guy down there. Okay. Little by little, they're going to try to release all these people.
They are.
And what we need is our current elected officials and our soon-to-be elected officials need to do something to change the laws.
Well, we've got people working on it. I mean, Steve Fox is working hard to try to get that reversed.
I understand.
And I'm sure he's thinking of laws. I mean, that's what they're there for.
This is, look, when we had Steve Fox on the show, Senator Knight on the show, Mayor Jim Ledford on the show, and this is going back a year and a half ago, okay, when this was all beginning, okay? It is a very difficult, slow process. Steve Fox has been petitioning and trying to audit the hospital and go through the process.
Yeah.
They don't make it easy for you.
No.
Okay?
No. They're not going to say, well, here's the issue. Here's the little holes that you can find. They're like, I hope you don't find it. Give them another box. They won't find it. Let them dig.
DA Jackie Lacey fought as hard as she could to keep this guy in there. I'm a little bit surprised that our Attorney General Kamala Harris, along with Governor Brown, couldn't have found a way to keep this guy there.
Well, they could have.
Yeah, they just didn't.
When you've got 20,000, 25,000 petitions from residents in the Antelope Valley that want this guy kept there.
Yeah.
Well, you just got to think about what it really is. From the Antelope Valley. Who cares?
Yeah.
Other than the people who live here, who cares?
Well, we do, because it's our community.
That's what I said. Other than the people who live here, nobody else does.
I've been, and it affects...
But that goes to every community.
I mean,
every community is going to be saying that.
I was down there last night on Sunset Boulevard. I get introduced. This is Jeff. He came all the way out to see me from Lancaster, and I could see the little...
What do you mean?
The person that I was being introduced to.
Really?
Yeah. We're a joke.
Well, he's the joke, paying $3,500 for his mortgage out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the joke.
You know, the way this affects people, I have a friend that's a rape victim, and I've been communicating and with her since she was so bothered about this, couldn't sleep last night, okay? Really, really bothered her. Mm-hmm. And since 5 a.m., we've been going back and forth by text. Mm-hmm. And there are people all over the community, mm-hmm. okay, that are deeply affected by this.
Absolutely.
And this is a guy that has been in prison, out of prison, reoffends, in prison, out of prison, reoffends.
He's got a pattern.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
A major pattern.
Mm-hmm.
But our laws are so screwed up,
yep.
okay, that, and it's really too bad. It's really too bad.
It's horrible.
But hopefully something will happen and we'll get him out of here.
Yeah, but hopefully something will happen not at the cost of another woman, that they can actually pull him from that place and put him back where he belongs. Because he is wired wrong. And when we recognize someone that's truly wired wrong, we as a responsible community needs to keep him safe as well as us. Mm-hmm. I mean, something's wrong with him.
Yeah.
Clearly.
There's no fixing that.
And there's no fixing it. So you need to keep him safe and us safe.
You know, another thing, kudos to the girls out there, the ladies of Lake LA, mm-hmm. that have been fighting this fight out of their own pocket, traveling to Sacramento, speaking to everybody, funding this, everything themselves. They've fought harder than anybody mm-hmm. to try to keep this guy from coming to the Antelope Valley. Mm-hmm. And although they weren't successful, it wasn't because of their lack of effort.
Right.
It was because we had a judge.
It might have been the lack of number.
What do you mean a lack of number?
You know, it's power in numbers.
Yeah, I think that judge had it in his head what he was going to do.
Well, they delivered 25,000 letters.
Yeah.
Okay? That is a lot.
You got to get to an obscene number before people pay attention.
I don't think that judge would have cared. You could have brought anything to him, and I don't think he would have cared.
You very well could be.
I agree, and even before his ruling, when we had Steve Fox on the show, mm-hmm. And I said to Steve, my feeling was, this judge is just going to go, this is what he's going to do. He's going to roll him out.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Because law says so, statute says so, and he's not going to look for a way to kink the system.
Terrible.
And Steve Fox agreed. And he's an attorney.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. You know, and they take stuff under advisement. That was just to let everybody calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
So then he can come back
Get it out,
say,
get it out. Okay, well, you got it out? Okay.
Yeah,
In a month, I'm going to let you know when he's coming to you.
This is a story, though. It's gone all over the nation.
Yeah.
I saw ABC out of New York was talking about the ladies in Lake LA. Mm-hmm. They were quoting Assemblyman Steve Fox. Mm-hmm. And this is right at Good Morning America out of New York.
Yeah, of course it is, because it's important to everybody.
It is, okay? Mm-hmm. And it's not just California, okay? Mm-hmm. There are dangerous, sick, poorly wired people, just
everywhere.
like Christopher Hubert, in every state.
Yes, it is.
All right, moving on.
Go ahead.
Yesterday, the verdict came out in the Brian Stowe beating, okay? And this is really interesting, okay? Because they needed, it's a civil trial, so there are 12 jurors. They needed a majority of 9, all right? After the verdict came out and everything, then we found out how the jury was split. And in all the time that they were deliberating, they were split 8-4. And the 4 that were split, one of the 4 was the jury foreperson, okay? Mm-hmm. They were so split, they refused to communicate. And during all the times of deliberation...
Really?
Yeah, so imagine this big room with a big table and where all the jurors are supposed to sit around, right? The four that were split took their chairs and put them in the corner of the room. They sat there.
Adolescent.
With their arms folded.
Adolescent.
And refused to even talk every single day. Every single day. When the jury foreperson came out and said, hey, we are deadlocked, okay? And the judge says, you go back in there, okay, and figure something out.
Be an adult.
They started again from scratch, all right? And it was finally the jury foreperson, okay, who is an attorney, okay?
Oh, that was the problem
that
right there.
changed her vote, all right? That changed the vote. But she changed the vote like this, okay, I'm going to change my vote, but here's what we're going to do. We're not going to listen to Brian Stowe's side. We're going to listen to the defense. We're not going to base the dollar amount on what Brian Stowe's attorneys are asking. We're going to base the dollar amount on what the defense has presented. So instead of going from the top down, we're going from the bottom up. Brian Stowe says it's going to cost $50 million, but the defense says it's going to cost $5 billion. So that's where we're going to start.
That's disgusting.
If you want me to come over, here's what we're going to do.
That's disgusting.
That's what happened, okay?
An attorney shouldn't be on a jury.
Why? She's a probate attorney.
I don't care.
Okay.
Because she knows the game. And this man was injured to the point of his life being altered forever. And you want to lowball him?
Right.
Because it's your fault that he's in a wheelchair? Right. I mean, it's his fault? That's terrible.
They didn't find then Dodger owner Frank McCourt liable at all.
I could see that.
All right? Mm-hmm. Because he was not hands-on.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. They did find the Dodgers themselves liable for about 25%. Okay?
Okay.
The balance was Louis Sanchez and Marvin Norwood, okay, that are both in prison for a long, long time.
I think that
they found them liable, which I said weeks ago. Watch what's going to happen, because these two guys in prison that don't have any money or any ability to pay.
You crack me up. You said all that weeks ago.
I swear I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah. Okay. Come on, I did.
Okay.
We talked. Okay. Anyway. And that's the terrible part about this, because you've got two guys that are in prison that are going to have this judgment to pay millions of dollars, and they're
not worried about it.
Right, they're not worried about it.
Put it on a zero on the end. For me, I think that the responsible party should have been the facility. Whoever was supposed to establish security there should be the responsible party.
On the very night that this attack happened, 150 security officers, many of which are either retired or off duty LAPD or what have you, they didn't show up for work. Okay, so their security force, because they normally have hundreds. Okay, hundreds, and they 350 a night. Okay,
yeah. And 150 didn't show up, and they didn't replace them.
Well, you can't.
Why?
Okay?
There's no pool to pull them from.
I think maybe not that fast. Okay, but that was the testimony.
See, but that's what I'm saying. I think that the facility that is supposed to supply security should have been held accountable, because we had what is funny?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Chuck Simons is a funny guy.
Yeah,
every once in a while he says something that's really funny.
Yeah. No, I think that the facility had an obligation to provide security. And they should have been the people that were most held accountable.
Yeah. Now, Louis Sanchez and Marvin Norwood, they were drunk at the game. Mm-hmm. All right.
Mm-hmm. And then what about the responsibility of cutting people off?
That in the past has always been a problem. Today, it's not an issue, and today they do it.
Okay, but then they should have been held accountable.
That's correct.
Terrible.
Okay.
So how much is this man really going to walk out with?
At the end of the day, after his attorneys are paid and everything else, he's probably going to have about $14.5–15 million. You got to figure that out. The attorneys, now, in a personal injury case such as this, attorneys usually get a minimum of 30%. All right? In this case, Brian Stowe's attorneys said, we're only taking 20. That's it. The rest is all for you.
Yeah.
And what the jury did was they said, okay, let's come up. We got to figure out how we're going to give him some money. So it has to be, the money that we're going to give him has to be something tangible. It has to be compensatory, meaning it has to be something real. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the amount that we're going to give him for pain and suffering is going to be very little. Okay?
And why would that be?
So,
are they holding him accountable? They must be holding him accountable.
They didn't hold him
accountable. They absolutely
accountable.
are. Because why wouldn't you just open it up and say, pay this guy? He was an absolute innocent. They are holding him accountable.
He came very, very close. Very, very close to getting zero money. Zero money. Okay?
They're holding him accountable. They're saying you shouldn't have talked crap to the guys. You were probably drunk too. This is what they're saying.
I'm disappointed with the jury.
It's terrible.
Okay? I am disappointed with the jury.
It's terrible.
I think they should have held the Dodgers feet to the fire more. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, the day before this case was being handed to the jury, the Dodgers went to Brian Stowe's attorneys and said, listen, we'll settle right now today.
Yeah.
Okay? We'll cut you a check for $11 million.
Oh.
Okay?
They need to...
Now that in
and
and of itself...
The Dodgers got more money than God. Okay. I mean, that's so...
Okay. In and of itself, that's disappointing. Okay?
Yes.
It is disappointing because
they
we're
should
talking
go to
about
them
a
now
guy...
and say, you know what, you got this, here's another 20. At least.
So the way they came up with the money was, how in debt are you? Okay? Your past medical bills and then your future medical bills. How much would you have earned...
No responsibility.
If you stayed being a fireman and a paramedic, how much would you have earned? So we'll
no
cover your
responsibility.
Loss. Right. Okay? He's lucky.
And what about he's lost his life.
Yeah, he's lucky that he got this, because if that one juror had not gone to the other side, he would have gotten zero money.
No, they would have just, it was deadlocked and they had to do it again.
Well, the problem was being able to fund this case was extremely difficult.
Terrible.
The family's deeply, deeply in debt. All right? Deeply in debt.
This
it was
is just
very
so
difficult
sad.
thing.
This is really, really, really sad.
It is sad. Okay.
Really, really, really sad and disappointing. And the Dodgers should come out their pocket and say, you know what, we should have did a better job by you.
You know what? If it was present Dodgers, okay, because it's not. It's like old GM. If it was present Dodgers, just for the sake of PR, okay, they would have said, here, what do you need? Here you go, okay? Because it's our reputation.
Yeah.
All right?
And it still is.
And we don't want the fans perceiving us as being terrible. But you know what? It's old Dodgers.
But you know what? You still have that effect. Because I want to say, I don't remember how long ago, but somebody was like, Angelina, do you want to go to the Dodger game? I was like, no. I mean, it has a bad rep. If you're not a diehard baseball person and Dodger fan, you're not taking the risk.
Well, security today is so strong at Dodger Stadium.
I'm not playing with y'all. But the thing is that when you get out the stadium in the parking lot, it's a free fall.
So, no, you have security is so strong today at Dodger Stadium.
Good.
It's unreal.
That's good.
Absolutely unreal. Law enforcement cannot even carry a gun inside the stadium.
And they did before?
Wouldn't you think that law enforcement would be able to?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So then why would they not now?
They don't allow it. They don't allow it. Okay, but I'm really disappointed with the jury in this case. Okay, this was a guy who will not function well for the rest of his life.
The rest of his life. It's affected his wife, his children, his grandchildren, his mental status.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, at every turn, he just keeps getting a big old slap. Now, is he as good as he's going to get?
He has shown improvement over the last 18 months.
I mean, I hope he doesn't go home and say, get out of here with this chair.
No. That's not going to happen. That won't happen.
Well, that's good.
You remember years ago when we had water conservation in California, we were in trouble. Mm-hmm. We used to have water police. Mm-hmm. If you overwatered it, they're coming back.
Oh, great.
They're coming back.
I remember that in the San Fernando Valley.
Do you?
Yeah.
The State Water Resource Control Board will be meeting on Tuesday, okay? And they want to impose a $500 fine if you're overwatering your lawn, okay?
And how do they measure
If
that?
you're washing your car without a self-shut-off nozzle and letting the hose run,
oh, well, who does that? That's
$500
stupid.
fine, okay?
Yeah.
Who's going to police this?
How
I have no
are you
idea.
going to police it?
I have no
Are you going to
idea.
go down neighborhoods and put little timers on when you see the water come on?
I don't know. They don't know. They don't even know how they're going to police it.
And if you do have one of those hoses without the spray, the nozzle, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It is, but it looks like that's what's going to be happening. If you're caught hosing down your driveway to get the leaves off.
Oh, you can't do that at all?
No, not at all. $500 fine.
I'll get that done tonight before.
They're due to meet on Tuesday. If they vote on that, the law will go into effect on August 1st.
Okay.
Okay? I think that
And are you saying that you cannot wash your car at home now?
you can wash it at home.
But you have to have the spray. You have to have a responsible
Right, so you're
nozzle.
only putting water on the car when you're doing something.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes sense.
So it's not going down the driveway.
Okay.
And everywhere. Did you hear about the Apple executive who became a Google executive? Did you hear about his murder up north?
No.
You didn't hear about this? Okay. It's a guy by the name of Forrest Hayes. Apparently he got mixed up with a
What?
expensive call girl. Okay?
To pay her bill.
They were on his yacht.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Why do you need a prostitute if you got that kind of money?
He was discovered dead in his yacht. All right? Mm-hmm. Heroin overdose.
Okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. What happened was there was surveillance footage, and it took quite a while for the police to figure this whole thing out. Mm-hmm. A woman by the name of Alex Tickleman, she's 26 years old, expensive call girl, prostitute, all right? She shot him up with a lethal dose of heroin.
Why?
Okay? Killed him. In the surveillance footage, she's sitting in his yacht. He's dying on the floor. She's stepping over him to get some more wine. Wow. And she finishes her glass of wine. Okay?
That's some cold stuff.
Hangs out inside the yacht. Doesn't make any difference. Nothing bothered her whatsoever.
And this is all on tape.
It's all on tape. It took them a while, okay? Took law enforcement a while, but it's all on security footage.
Something's wrong
And then
with
she
him.
went
And
to...
for what purpose? What gain? I mean, all he's going to have is whatever's in his wallet.
Right.
You're a prostitute. How are you going to benefit from this?
And apparently, she didn't only do it in California.
Oh, so she's a black widow.
She's wanted in other states as well.
That's what she does.
For the same thing. And she goes to social media, and she posts about her killings, but doesn't post enough to put names or locations.
Yeah, she's a black widow.
Okay?
And so when they start getting into her head, they'll find that she was sexually molested at 6. Men has always been the enemy. I mean, this is a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know it is. This guy, though,
terrible.
The Google executive,
Poor guy,
worked at, and he was one of the
You're
very...
51 years old. What you doing with a 26-year-old girl? Get it. I mean, men, can I just tell
in
you?
a midlife crisis, he's got to buy a
It's
Porsche.
ridiculous. Buy a Porsche then.
He
Motorcycle.
He worked at Google's top secret facility. Okay?
And she didn't even want any secrets.
No. Okay? Where he worked, though, is at a place that I'm sure very few people have even heard of this. It's called Google X. It's a top secret facility. Okay? And I'll tell you a little bit about it because it's really kind of interesting. Current projects that Google X is working on, and this is one that's really cool, are contact lenses that will be able to monitor glucose in your tears.
Oh, for diabetics?
For diabetics.
Okay.
Google is bringing that onto the market. They have Project Loon, which provides internet service via balloons to all areas of the world.
Okay.
Okay? Well, think about it. You could be in the bush of Australia.
But
okay?
if the balloon pops, then your signal's gone.
No, they stay up there for years and years and years.
Okay.
Okay? That's one of the things. They're working on an artificial neural network for speech recognition and computer vision. Some of the things that they stopped working on, but they were really working on, and they tried. One was a hoverboard like a skateboard, which was, although they did build it, it was too costly.
That's
okay.
hot.
Another was a user-friendly, safe jetpack, but it was too loud and energy wasting. Another one was a teleportation device.
What?
But they found that violated the laws of physics.
Oh, you think?
But they had spent millions of dollars, okay?
Trying to figure it out.
On that. They were working on a space elevator.
What?
They were working on a space elevator, okay? But after spending millions of dollars on that, they figured it was unfeasible. But this is like their DARPA.
They had
this
a
is
whole
their
lot of
think
people.
tank.
Yeah.
Okay? All the work in
Drew big. Put it down there. What about a space elevator?
It is. All of the
you
stuff
pick it up in New York.
All of the stuff that goes on there is all seen by one guy, and that's Sergey Brin, Google's co-founder. Okay? That's where he goes to work every day. And this is where Google Glasses came from. All right?
That was a good one.
That was a good one. The driverless car.
That's another good one.
That came from here. Do you know there's 300 driverless cars now in America driving around?
All in Silicon Valley.
No. 300 all over the United States. All right? That are driving around. They did get permission in Nevada to let the car drive around with no one in it. Okay?
Well, that's the point.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're still testing them. They just got California. They used to have 2 people in the car, all right? But nobody was behind the steering wheel. And nobody had any controls. But there were 2 people monitoring everything the car was doing. Now they're down to 1 person. Having logged over 350,000 miles.
Any accidents?
None.
That's pretty amazing.
In rush hour traffic.
That's pretty amazing.
Driving everywhere. Not one accident. Not one ticket. Not one violation.
Well, that'd be hard to ticket it.
Okay. And this car is staying, it switches lanes, it stays in lanes, it stops at stop signs.
I wonder what...
Very cool. Very cool.
That is cool.
Little kids like Michael Stein's youngest, when she starts driving, you're going to be in driverless cars.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
It is. And
is.
It's already coming out, Congress, the Senate, out of Washington, D.C., they've all been saying, in the next 10 years, driverless cars.
Well, it won't be the help of the government because they're just not doing nothing.
You mean nothing like nothing?
Nothing like nothing.
Like, can we talk about what the government's doing with immigration?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's the nothing I'm talking about.
Okay, well, we've got some problems.
We've got major problems.
The problems are going to affect the Antelope Valley, too.
Oh, are they coming here now?
They will be coming to the Antelope Valley. They are coming. They will be going out to Adelanto. Okay? Murrieta's not working out. Okay?
I mean, the thing is that we just have so much problems right now with social services and means of abused children and trying to get these kids in loving homes and placed appropriately, and now to overtax the system by bringing children from other countries that, are escaping their own horrors. I mean, they could be just as damaged and just as abused as the ones that we're trying to save, for all intents and purposes. I mean, because I've heard of the stories of these young girls being raped and, all this stuff happening to them as they make their way over here. It's disgusting.
It is. Now, yesterday...
that nothing is being done. And President Obama needs to get out his little executive pen and just do his job.
Today, he is asking Congress for money so he can try to deal with this. He needs permission.
And they're going to put their
spend
feet
money
on the table because they don't want to help him. Period.
They are going to have to come up with money.
They don't want to help him. And you know what? We better remember every single one that's sitting in those chairs come election time.
Now, Rick Perry and Obama are having a meeting.
Yeah.
And Rick Perry, he doesn't want an office meeting, okay? He wants, put on your Levi's, get down to the border with me. I want you to see the problem we have. You need to come see it.
I heard that.
Okay?
I heard that. And I heard them saying, listen, you know, presidents went to Katrina and saw, so why don't you come to the border? I think it's a little different because these are not Americans. It's a humanitarian issue, yes, but it's not Americans in, you know what I mean? It's a totally different phenomenon.
You know, but it's not a humanitarian.
It is humanitarian. These are people.
We've got a leak in the dike.
How is it not humanitarian?
Just shut the border down.
Yes, but it's a humanitarian because we're stuck with all these people.
Okay, that is a problem. And yesterday in Port Hueneme, California State Senator Kevin DeLeon went there yesterday. He wanted to inspect the facility. Okay, now this is a facility that is currently housing about 650 illegal immigrants that have come in. Okay, many of them children. All right. Now they're here illegally. They're on a naval base. Okay, for him to get in there to see the people that are here illegally. Okay, very stringent 2-day background check process.
And what is he going to do to them?
Okay.
Yeah. What is he? Why?
He was very pissed.
What's the fear?
Okay?
Yeah.
Very, very pissed. Yes. Did he know that the naval facility existed there? Absolutely. Did he know that this facility? Okay. Until we knew that they were housing. Okay. Illegal immigrants that had come here. Did he even know that they had a facility that was set up for this at any time? No.
Yeah, because it was hush-hush.
It was hush-hush. And he didn't know that, okay? He was very upset that you've got hundreds of people that are here illegally, okay? We didn't do a background check on them.
Right.
Okay? And for me to get in, okay, I got to go through a 2-day process.
Because the fear is what? You're going to take one of the kids with you?
Yeah, well,
what's the fear?
He was very pissed, okay?
But I will say that on CNN, they are talking about medical intervention. And they are talking to a lot of nurses and medical staff that have volunteered time to go down there and help. So that whole fear of, oh my God, they got typhoid and we're not doing anything, I don't think that it's really true. Unless we're getting fed the wrong information. But I heard this morning on CNN, there's a lot of medical personnel that are going down there and helping.
Now, the number one...
Oh, we just going... I didn't say that?
Yeah, you did say it, okay? You did say it. I think when it comes to the medical issues that they have, I don't think they're really talking to us about the truth. I don't think so. I hear what you're saying, okay? I hear what you're saying.
Based on what, Steve?
Based on other interviews that I've heard other people say where we're going to get fired by telling you what's going on. We've been told all the way from the top not to talk to you about the diseases that they're coming in with, the way that we are not treating them.
Well, maybe that's false information. I mean, it can go either way, absolutely. You know, it can absolutely go either way.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, and I hope they're taking care of us.
The bottom line is that we better make sure that we're immune, that we've gotten our boosters, and we're all good. Your kids are immunized, and everybody's good.
Are you going to go to the doctor and check all your stuff?
No.
Right. See, me either.
No, because I don't believe that. I don't go crazy off of silly stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. But you just said, so we got to all check our immunizations.
The ones that are scared to death, thinking that story, that version of the information coming out here is true, they need to go and make sure that their stuff is right.
Okay. What our current plan is, and when I say us, the United States, what the current plan is every child that is in there, if they have a relative or friend,
legal or not,
legal or not.
Yeah, they
okay?
can go there.
You can go there.
Yeah.
Okay? Tell us who it is. We got to verify it, and you're on your way.
Yeah.
Okay? That's number one priority. All right? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Port Hueneme is going to run out of room. Okay?
Yeah, like today.
Like today.
Yeah.
They are maxed out.
Yeah.
All right? So their next option is either tent it, okay?
Oh,
Start
God.
putting people in tents, or look at another facility.
You know what's interesting to me? It's like, why is it a big deal right now? What happened? Did all the Border Patrol agents get furloughed? And now it's like this major influx? I mean, why did we go to these countries and say, hey, this is the time to come? Like, what is it that this is happening now
Well,
as
this has
opposed
been
to
happening.
10 years ago?
It has been happening, but...
So then why is it like in the forefront right now?
Well, because Governor Jan Brewer in Arizona didn't know that her state, because nobody said anything, she didn't know that her state was being flooded, okay? Flooded with illegal
she was getting
immigrants.
dropped. She was the
No,
drop-off point.
she had no idea.
Oh,
okay?
they kept that hush.
Correct, okay? And
That's
Arizona was
cold-blooded.
maxed out.
That's cold.
Okay? Right, and they became maxed out. When she went to the federal government and said, no more,
Yeah.
and they said, don't tell us no more, we're going to continue.
Then she blew it up.
Because we'll do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay? Then immediately from then it was, now where else can we put them? All right? Let's go to California. I haven't heard Governor Brown saying, the hell you are, like Jan Brewer did.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Well, I mean,
Okay?
go somewhere that there's not a lot of people. Well, I mean, immigrants.
Okay.
South Dakota.
These people are here,
Seattle.
and we have to deal with them in a fair and a respectable way.
Exactly, because they're people.
Because they are people.
And
okay?
that's
They're
the
human,
humanitarian
okay?
tone.
I agree with you, okay? But at the same time, shut the border down.
Absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
And be done with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's red, blue, or indifferent. There's no argument on the need to shut down the border. That's job number one.
If Rick
Then
Perry,
take a head count and then start trying to figure some stuff
right,
out.
and if Governor Rick Perry says, hey, in order for us to do our job, okay, this is what we need. I need 1,000 National Guardsmen.
Send it to him.
Okay, give it to him.
Right now. They're
And
on
be
their
done with
way.
it, okay? And then we'll deal with the problems that we have, all right?
Why is that a problem? He's got to get permission from Congress?
No, President Obama just has to do it.
He should just do it.
Well, but it hasn't been done. But this is a problem, and then the next thing is now there is a detention facility, okay, that is pretty much empty out in Adelanto, and they are now looking at Adelanto. They're looking at a massive,
facility.
immediate expansion,
Yeah.
okay, and they want to put them out there, okay. At the same time, the city, Adelanto itself as a city, they're almost broke. Okay, they have their own problems.
Well, they'll get a fusion.
So, and they'll get a fusion from it. Okay, and they'll receive money.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're talking about maybe doing something with Adelanto, like really immediately.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber yesterday,
Oh,
a
God.
person that I hate so much.
Why do you hate him?
I don't like him. He's a little punk, and he should go back to Canada. But Justin Bieber yesterday pled no contest to a misdemeanor. It was announced yesterday morning that the DA was going to prosecute him. Okay? So, and this is how fast, because you're Justin Bieber, okay? This is what you get to do,
Yeah.
okay? You get to hire probably one of the best criminal defense attorneys on the planet, which is Sean Hawley, okay? You get to retain her immediately, have her go into court, and deal with your problem, and make it all gone
Yes.
by 5 p.m., and you don't even have to go to court.
Well, you have a grin on your face, so is that what happened?
That is what happened.
So why are you happy about it?
I'm not happy about it, but I am happy to the fact that he did basically, it was no contest, so he basically pled guilty to a misdemeanor. All right? He is now on formal 2 years probation. He has to do 12
Justin.
weeks of anger management, 5 days of community labor, and pay $80,900 in restitution for egging someone's house.
All of that is from egging the guy's house?
All of this is from egging the guy's house. and can't go anywhere near that guy.
I mean,
Okay.
you get up in the morning, you say, oh my God, these kids are egging my house. You get the hose and you spray down your house.
He's still facing the Miami DUI problems. He's still facing the New York
That's
problem.
real. The Miami
Okay.
DUI is a real issue. I mean, that's some real stuff. The egging to me is trivial.
I was disappointed that because the amount, anything over $400 could be considered a felony. Okay?
Right.
But the damage to the home was $20,000. All right.
I'd have to see the damage. What is the home made of? Play-Doh?
Well, now he's
It's
paying.
egg!
Now he's paying 80 egg. You know, if you throw egg in a car, it stays on there. It takes the paint off.
Okay, but this is not a car.
I understand. It was a house.
This is a house with stucco and what have
A
you.
multi-million-dollar home.
So you spray it off.
I don't. You know what? I'm just disappointed that they didn't hold his feet to the fire and charge him with a felony.
Give me a break.
Okay,
It's egg.
I really am.
I mean, it's egg. Did he go out and get 9 dozens? And like, I mean, how much egg could it be?
I don't know. Okay, I'm just disappointed.
Silly. Just
that
silliness.
they didn't get him for more. Yesterday, the Marine, and we've talked about Alex Tamarosi, the Marine that's being held in Mexico jail.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he got in front of a judge, all right, with his newest attorney, and got to explain what happened.
Okay.
All right?
I'm waiting for it.
And they're going to be back in front of the judge again August 4th.
But
they
what
were
was the
hoping
story?
to get him out.
What's the story? You had a lot of time to think of a good story.
That he made a mistake. It was dark at night. He had just moved down to San Diego because he was being treated for PTSD, okay? It was dark at night. He went to make a U-turn. There were no signs there. When he made that U-turn, he ended up going across the border. And so at that point, he said, I need to turn around, okay? I want to turn around. We're going to check you out, okay? I don't mean to be here, okay? I'm just a few inches past. I don't want to be here. No, we're going to check you out. They find weapons. And that was it for him, okay?
Go for it.
Where, and that explanation.
You can't be that silly.
Listen,
And you know, there's a
74
line to get through. There's a line.
No, this was a little different area.
It was?
It was. And 74 members of Congress have written letters to this judge. 74 members of Congress have asked the President of the United States to get involved in this. And the President of the United States is not. Well, here's the
Because it
thing.
don't sound right.
Where Tamarisi had one problem is here. Everybody was believing what he said, and believed it, okay? That he made a mistake. I have never been to Mexico before in my life.
You haven't?
No, this is Tamarisi
Oh, okay,
speaking. I have never been to Mexico before in my life. I didn't do this on purpose. I was trying to turn around. That story, being true, was holding up. It stopped holding up when the Mexican government presented evidence that he has been to Mexico before.
Yeah.
Okay? That's when that argument started to fall apart. But the judge yesterday was very clear. Okay? He said, look, we're going to look at this and we're going to take it and pick it apart item by item. I will be very fair, but here's what I won't allow. Okay? I will not allow political pressure or media pressure to change my opinion.
Okay.
Okay? It doesn't work in America.
Yes, it does.
He said, listen, okay?
Yeah.
And it isn't going to work here, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So you can have as many congressmen write me letters and send me telegrams as you want.
Come on, dude.
That's
Yeah.
not going to do anything for me, okay?
Well, I just don't buy it. I can't see how you could be that dense. I just can't. I just have an issue with that. So, I mean, I hope the best comes out of it. He's going to come out even worse than he did when he went in, because the dude already had PTSD, right?
You know, he's actually holding up really well. They took him out of that awful prison. They put him in a nice place. He gets along with the guards. He has his own cell.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's gonna be
and
nice.
his spirits are good, and he says he's doing well. Okay, yesterday was the first time that in 120 days, the first time that he's actually been able to express what happened and talk to the judge. Okay, They were hoping that the judge would throw it out, okay? And
Well, he
dismiss
has
the
been in there a
charges,
long time.
okay? He has been in there a long time.
I mean, how
All right.
long is he supposed to get, even if it was in bad intent?
Well, here's the thing. It's an evidentiary hearing,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to have another hearing on the 4th, and they're hoping maybe at that time that they can get the judge to say, hey, look, he's been here this long. This is the thing. No harm done. You've already held him for, 150 days by then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Let him go.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what they're hoping to do. We're out of time. We're done with our show today.
Yeah.
I wanted to go down a list of the 5 states in America that take the most money out of your paycheck. Okay?
California.
And we'll do that tomorrow.
California.
Okay? There is a state in America, okay? There is a state that between state and federal income tax takes 53% of every dollar you make.
What state is that? I mean, you got to tell me.
And no, we're going to do this tomorrow, okay?
Who would...
California
What?
California is amongst the highest,
Oh,
okay?
of course they are.
Okay, I'll tell you real quick. In Oregon, combined with federal income tax, middle-class residents in Oregon can expect to hand over 52.3% of their income to the government.
No.
That's in Oregon.
Won't be living there.
But I'm going to go through a list tomorrow. You won't believe it. It's an
That's
unbelievable.
insane.
Yeah, it is. It's really nuts. Thanks, everybody, for making us the number
Yes.
one news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley. We appreciate you watching and listening to our show, and we'll be back tomorrow. And the mics are live because I have to go shut this down.